Hello, lovely people. Welcome to today's episode of Reality TV News. Reminding you, we post videos daily, so if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss any important update.
We're looking at this disagreement involving Kristin Cavallari, Craig Conover, and Paige DeSorbo. Kristin came out on her podcast and, well, she stated pretty clearly that Craig wasn't honest about a relationship overlap involving Paige. She flat out said he lied to her.
And what's really telling is how Kristin explains why she thinks he lied.
Yeah.
It's not just the accusation. She suggests it's about guilt, right? That he felt caught red-handed is the term she used.
Yeah, caught red-handed. And she mentioned it adds to this big old hole in the press she feels he's dealing with already.
Exactly. And she wraps it up saying, you did lie to me. You did. And I still love you.
Right.
Which is, well, it certainly clarifies her position, but also frames it in a specific way. It illuminates her stance, making it sound almost like tough love.
Right. It adds another layer. And then things get even more, let's say, digitally interesting. Paige DeSorbo, who was Craig's partner at the time this alleged overlap happened, she didn't release a statement, but she liked a video clip.
A clip of Kristin making these claims.
Exactly. Just a like. But that small action, that digital nod, it really demonstrates a reaction, doesn't it? Without saying a single word.
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating from a communication standpoint. That like is a form of, let's call it, subtle validation. She's amplifying Kristin's account, showing support perhaps, but without having to directly engage or make a formal statement herself. It's strategic.
Yeah, it avoids the direct confrontation, but still sends a message. Okay, so that's one side, heavily leaning towards Kristin's narrative. But then Craig Conover had his chance to respond, right? He went on another show.
He did. And he presented a very, very different version of events.
He claims he was totally blindsided when Kristin brought up Paige.
He painted a picture of being completely unprepared for that line of questioning. Not one of dishonesty, but of being ambushed.
He actually said he felt like he was going to die on stage. That's pretty dramatic language.
It is. And he added the context that he had supposedly been assured Paige would be off limits in their conversation.
Right. And that he hadn't actually spoken publicly about their breakup before that moment. So his narrative is, I wasn't lying, I was ambushed and distressed.
Precisely. So you have these two directly opposing narratives about the same interaction. Kristin's framing, lie, guilt, accountability. Craig's framing, ambush, broken agreement, distress. Next, we are going to talk about some, get ready for season 19, because Tamra Judge has been, well, spilling some tea.
Oh, yeah. What you saying?
Well, speaking on the Two Teas in a Pod episode, this was June 30th, Tamra described the new season as absolutely explosive and apparently incredibly emotional.
Okay, explosive and emotional. That's kind of the brand, right?
Totally. But she mentioned hoping to move forward and not deal with shit from 12 to 15 years ago with Gretchen Rossi. But she said that wasn't how the season played out.
Okay, so the old wounds are definitely getting reopened then. That's classic Housewives, these long-standing feuds. They really become part of the show's DNA, don't they?
Right. It's like viewers are invested in these decade-long dramas.
Exactly. It's that friction between past and present. It keeps things interesting, keeps people tuning in. Old scores never really seem settled.
And speaking of old scores, Tamra also talked about Vicki Gunvalson, who's 63 now, potentially returning for season 20.
Oh, interesting. What was Tamra's take?
She was pretty firm. Said Vicki really crossed the line by attacking her as a mom and bringing her daughter into their drama. Apparently, it made Tamra cry.
Wow. Yeah, attacking kids or parenting is usually off limits.
Totally. And Vicki's only explanation was apparently, I'm only sticking up for Shannon Beador. Tamra found that comical, given how much Vicki and Shannon fight themselves.
Yeah, that is a bit ironic.
Right. And that's why Tamra said she wanted out of the Tres Amigas, that whole Tamra, Vicki, Shannon thing. Okay, but let's shift to something a bit lighter from the OC. Alexis Bulino, she's 48, is getting married to John Jansen, who's 62.
Oh, wedding bells. Was Tamra invited?
Yep, absolutely invited, she said. Heather Dubrow, too. And Tamra plans to go. She actually had really nice things to say about Alexis.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
She said, Alexis is one friend that I have that checks up on me, wants to know how I'm doing, wants to know how my family's doing. She's a very, very kind person.
Oh, that's genuinely sweet. Nice to hear amidst all the drama.
It really is. And Tamra also shot down those breakup rumors about Alexis and John. Said they're on vacation right now, taking a pre-honeymoon. So, yeah, looks like things are good there.
Good for them.
Oh, and just a reminder for you listening, RHOC Season 19 premieres Thursday, July 10th at 98 Central on Bravo.
Right.
Okay, next update we have about Imrul Hassan from Summer House. He's had some pretty strong comments recently on a podcast, kind of taking aim at the female cast members.
Oh, what's the story there?
He accused several of them, including Lindsay Hubbard, Paige DeSorbo, Ciara Miller, Amanda Batula, Gabby Prescott, and Lexi Wood, of basically acting like mean girls.
Mean girls? Wow, okay. Any specifics?
He mentioned tensions, specifically with Paige and Ciara, over him bringing women back to the house for hookups. He felt like as a group they were not very warm and welcoming, just kind of up there in their rooms.
That definitely evokes a picture of like a cliquey atmosphere.
Yeah, house divided for sure.
And this ties into the production side too, right? Because Imrul also had things to say about the editing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is from a June 27th episode of the Taylor Show. He suggested Bravo was disrespectful by cutting him out of scenes.
Like what kind of scenes?
Well, he mentioned a whole dinner scene where he talked about the English school he founded back in Bangladesh. He said using Summer House as a platform for that was his main goal.
Okay, so he felt they ignored his more serious side.
Pretty much. He felt production pigeonholed him, focusing just on his sexual adventures, not his philanthropy. He even talked about the orgy beast nickname they gave him, saying he's actually an orgy novice.
Right.
And it had real-world consequences for him, too. He heard that his religious sister-in-law actually uninvited him from his nephew's birthday party because of the whole orgy beast thing and how he came across on the show.
Oof, that's rough. Public perception spilling into private life.
Yeah. Though to be fair, he did admit some fault, saying he wasn't maybe as engaging as he could have been, so, taking a little responsibility there. Okay, next update we have about Lala Kent and Tom Schwartz from Vanderpump Rules. There were these wild rumors flying around that they were dating and secretly living together.
Oh, yeah, I saw something about that. What's the real story?
Well, they addressed it directly on Tom's Detox Retox podcast, the July 1st episode. Tom kind of joked, if it's on the internet, it's true, right?
Huh. Classic deflection.
Right. And Lala was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
She thought it was funny that a photo used was of her when she was pregnant, making it look like I'm also carrying your baby.
Oh my gosh. That's creative, I guess.
Seriously. Tom said even his friends were texting about it. But what really got me was Lala admitting, I've had some dreams. And I wake up like, what the F?
Wait, dreams about Tom. Okay, that is interesting.
Right. But they both strongly denied actually dating. Lala said she hasn't really thought about men in a romantic way in a very long time and called it empowering.
Empowering, huh? And Tom's reaction.
He agreed, called it inspiring.
Yeah.
Which, connects to the bigger picture here.
Right. The fact that they and the whole cast basically got fired from Vanderpump Rules last year after season 11.
Exactly. So maybe focusing on themselves makes sense. Okay, next update we have about Luann de Lesseps and her thoughts on the Real Housewives of New York City reboot.
Ah, the Countess weighs in. What's her take on the reboot?
Well, she's 60 now, and she thinks the first problem was that they had an all-new cast and they didn't keep the OGs, the original members.
Okay. That's a common critique from fans, too. Does she have a solution?
Yeah, she proposed they combine the cast. So, bringing some of the season 15 women like Jenna Lyons, Saida Silva, Imrul Hassan, Erin Litchi, Jessel Tank together with some originals. Brynn Whitfield confirmed she's not coming back for S16, by the way.
Interesting idea. A hybrid cast.
Right. I mean, I still think back to that original group, Ramona Singer, Sonia Morgan.
Yeah.
It was kind of epic, like she said. Almost like Sex in the City.
It had its moments, for sure. And it's fascinating, this challenge producers face. Wanting newness, but knowing fans are deeply attached to the OGs. It's a tough balancing act.
So would Luann come back herself?
She's open to it. She said, I never say never, I say maybe.
Classic Luann.
Exactly. And it's interesting to note where everyone is now. Ramona and Sonia moved to Florida, Jill Zier in 2. Kelli Benjamin and Dorit Medley are still in New York, though.
So logistics could be tricky for a combined cast.
Potentially, yeah. It just demonstrates that dynamic between legacy stars and new faces and how real life, like geography, plays into it.
True. Oh, and speaking of Luann, she mentioned her recent acting gig on Acorn TV's Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh, yeah. How is that?
She described it as feeling like Martha Stewart meets Snoop Dogg. Called it an odd pairing, but it works.
Huh. Okay, I'm kind of intrigued now.
Me too. And just so you know, RHONY is currently casting for its upcoming 16th season. So we'll see what happens with that cast mix.
Always something brewing in the Housewives world.
Always. Okay, next update we have about Kelli Ferrell. She's a new cast member for season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she's apparently facing some pretty big legal troubles.
Oh, really? Already? What kind of troubles?
Yeah. Navy Federal Credit Union filed a lawsuit against her on May 5th. They're saying she owes $26,434.86 in unpaid credit card debt.
Wow, that's a significant amount. And she's a chef, right? On's Nana's Chicken and Waffles.
That's her. She's 40, known in Atlanta, has a cookbook too, Cooking with Kelli. So yeah, this is kind of a big deal hitting just as she joins the show.
Definitely. How is she responding to it?
Well, her representative put out a statement saying Kelli hasn't even been served with the lawsuit yet. And they claim the debt was from a shared account with her ex-husband, Chuvalo Mark Ferrell, who's apparently in bankruptcy.
Okay, so trying to distance herself from it, pointing to the ex.
Exactly. But then Chuvalo's representative fired back.
Oh, what did they say?
His rep said Chuvalo was removed from all joint accounts back in 2022 during the divorce, and he has no knowledge of any loans or transactions initiated by Ms. Kelli A. Ferrell after his removal.
Ooh, okay, so a direct contradiction.
Yep. Chuvalo's rep even called Kelli's statement blame shifting.
Yikes.
And apparently, this isn't Kelli's first run-in with legal issues either. Her restaurant's landlord sued her before for a six-figure debt and lack of permits.
Okay. So there's a bit of a pattern, maybe.
Seems like it, although that previous suit was settled.
And for the viewers, RHOA Part 1 of the Season 16 reunion airs July 13th. Might be some foreshadowing there.
Could be. Stephanie Shojaee. She's a newcomer on The Real Housewives of Miami, and there's some interesting tea about her past relationship.
Oh, Miami always brings the heat. What's the story?
Well, it turns out Stephanie used to date Anthony Lopez.
Anthony Lopez. Wait, isn't he Dr. Nicole Martin's fiance now, the former cast member?
The very same. Stephanie clarified it's like 20 years ago, lasted about a year, and Anthony was actually her dad's attorney back then.
Okay, so a long time ago. But still, that's tangled web. Is there drama with Nicole?
Stephanie says no. She insists it's really not that big of a deal, there's no bad blood, and they actually became friends mid-season. She even joked, who can blame Anthony for liking us both?
Huh. Well, that's one way to handle it.
And speaking of joining the show, Stephanie got some very mixed advice.
Oh, yeah? From who?
Well, Carolyn Stanbury apparently told her don't do it, but Larsa Pippen was all for it, basically saying, if you don't do it with me, I'm going to kill you.
That sounds like Larsa.
Right. And Lisa Rinna initially said no, but then called back and said Stephanie would be perfect for it.
Wow.
And Stephanie's already getting buzz for maybe being the richest housewife ever.
Is she embracing that?
Oh, yeah. She admitted she flaunts it the most and joked about being new money. But she also added, you never really know who's the richest because not everyone shows it off.
True. Is she causing any drama yet?
Seems like it. She said she and Alexia Napola, who's 58, go at it a lot this season, says they're both opinionated and alpha.
Uh-oh. Two alphas in Miami. That sounds about right.
Yeah, Stephanie admitted she can be reactive and doesn't always think before speaking, and said Alexia is similar. She also teased a stab in the back from someone she least expected, which she only realized near the end of filming.
Ooh, classic Housewives cliffhanger. So overall, how did she find her first season?
She called it so much fun, but also a roller coaster, and one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
That sounds about right for a rookie season. And for you watching at home, The Real Housewives of Miami Season 7 airs Wednesdays at 98 Central on Bravo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, next update we have about Scheana Shay. Her new memoir, My Good Side, has some pretty detailed accounts of her affair with Eddie Cibrian way before Vanderpump Rules even started.
Right. That affair is kind of the catalyst for her being on the show in the first place, wasn't it? With the Brandi Glanville confrontation.
Exactly. So she sets the scene. She was 21, working at a private cigar lounge in Beverly Hills back in 2006. That's where she met Eddie.
And she was immediately smitten.
Oh, yeah. Described him as her type. Tall, dark, and handsome, with dimples. Said she just melted when he smiled. It started as a weekly booty call after his poker games.
Okay, but the big question was always, did she know he was married to Brandi at the time?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. She claims she did know. Says he never wore a wedding ring and insists it was pre-social media, implying it was harder to find out.
Pre-social media, maybe, but gossip travels fast in Beverly Hills, right? It seems a little hard to believe she had no idea.
I know, right? She says someone at the lounge actually warned her he was married. So she asked Eddie about it.
And what did he say?
His reply, no, that's insane. Why would you ask me that? Scheana now calls it gaslighting in its most basic form.
Wow. Okay, so he flat out denied it. It's fascinating, though, how someone can be deceived, or maybe how they allow themselves to be deceived when they're emotionally invested.
Totally. And the relationship apparently got more serious. He helped her move, met her mom, met her friends. He even brought his best friend and his son around her.
Okay, meeting the son while secretly married, that's bold.
Right. Scheana said she started believing she could end up with Eddie. She never went to his house, but didn't find that odd, blaming travel difficulties and cost.
Which, again, kind of illuminates that maybe she was choosing to believe the fantasy he presented.
Seems like it. There was even a brief pause when Scheana dated Jesse Metcalfe for a bit, but then she went back to Eddie.
Right. And then, of course, flash forward to 2013, and the first scene of Vanderpump Rules is Brandy confronting her. Talk about a full circle moment.
Seriously, it's all laid out there in the memoir now. Wow, okay, what a deep dive into the real and, yes, sometimes really messy lives of these reality TV figures.
It really is.